Airfix 1/32 scale modern German infantry. I did a previous video on the modern British infantry, so this is the second box of the modern sets they released in 1976, and there was a few more sets then released a little bit later in 1983. But in 1976 they did this and the British one, and that's kind of, I would say, a bit strange, that decision, because you usually want to have opposing forces, right? And I don't think the Germans and the British in 1976 was actually fighting each other. So maybe this was a decision taken by someone who doesn't understand modern conflict, that we actually changed from World War II when, Germany was kind of the bad guy, right? So something happened there, and not until 1986 we got a true foe in the modern Russian set. So if you wanted to play with these in 1976, you better find an enemy from another manufacturer, or just do an alternative storyline for World War III, I guess. The box, super nice. I think someone's going to correct me with this. I think this looks pretty correct. I think these ammo pouches may be a little bit big, and this, what I call the Panzerfaust 44, looks good here, but it's too small in the set. G3 looks good. I think this is the wrong grenade for 1976, mid 70s, but on the side, as always, some writing in French. You got the prone machine gunner, and it says here, Holden Place, 1976, and you have to be 5 years old to play with these. The back, regular, really nice, looks super awesome as always. Painting instructions. There's a few things here though on the backstory of the modern German army that I have a little bit of an issue with, and maybe you can help me out sort this out. But I guess it's fine. But the thing I have the problem with is this here, MG1 machine gun. I think, isn't that supposed to be the MG3 as far as I can find? Maybe you can help me out. And then it says Panzerfaust or Carl Gustav. And nowhere can I find that they in the 70s used the Carl Gustav rocket launcher. It's a recoilless rifle, right? This should be the Panzerfaust 44. I mean, I guess it says Panzerfaust here, but I don't know why they added a Carl Gustav in there. But other than that, Airfix boxes are second to none. Really cool. I think these two colors work really well. I really like the new splash here. Gives you that feeling like, wow, I'm buying like a new thing here. For the figures, we got 7 figures in the set. We got 6, you could argue maybe 5 firing poses. And contrary to the modern British, we actually get an officer in this set. At least that's what I call this soldier. There's only one in the set, and he's doing like a hand signal. So that means you're an officer, right? And he doesn't have a rifle. He has the little Uzi, which I guess in the Bundeswehr, as they were called, or they are called in German, it's an MP2A1 or something like that. But I think if we want to get nitty-picky about these things, I think the stock is wrong. Same as on the box. It's a wooden stock, and it's supposed to be a foldable stock on the Uzi in the German armed forces at this time. West German even. Other than that, I think ammo pouches, everything looks good. And these figures are so good, and you're so used to at this time with Airfix, with the modern British, German, the German paratroopers, the US paratroopers. At this time, these figures are so good, so you get kind of used to it, and you go, they're okay, but they're not okay. They're super. I mean, these are so good. The details, everything, just it's the poses, the natural way the figures look. Yeah, at the time, and I think even today, there's not much that can beat these Airfix figures. I am a sucker, of course, for standing riflemen. This is really good. G3. I was a part of the Swedish Home Guard, or the National Guard. So I actually carried what we call the AK-4B. I think we're to C now, with some improvements. The stock on the G3 is kind of a design flaw, and a guy named Håkan Spur from Sweden actually designed a new stock for it, retractable stock, which is kind of difficult to do this with a buffer spring in there. And he's got a new front for it as well. And I haven't shot that one. Here's some images of me shooting the old one. And as you can see with the C-clamp, you can manage the recoil quite well. But they say with the new stock, it's supposed to be really nice to shoot. And I'm a fan of 7.62. I don't want 5.56 on the battlefield if I get to choose. But anyway, Standing Rifleman, really, really nice. This is the one we can have a little bit of a discussion about. He could be, I mean, his finger is on the trigger. He's running, he could be running and shooting. So this could be a firing pose or just your regular running figure. No bayonet though. But again, yeah, this is not bad, man. This is very good. And my pet peeve, but this time they did it right. The soldier throwing the grenade is actually holding on to the rifle. We had the discussion before about this. If it's a kind of heavy rifle, I think it's 5.5 kilos with a 20 round magazine fully loaded, but holding it like that is not a problem. I did that all the time when you need to just carry it with one hand. I think this is the wrong grenade though, right? I don't think they had a potato masher. I was trying to look that up on the internet, but I really couldn't find any information. Submachine gunner, really cool. The Uzi again, I think with the wrong stock. Again, a really cool dynamic pose. Very natural. Then we have the anti-tank soldier. I guess it depends on what you put in there if it's anti-tank. But so this should be the Panzerfaust 44 as far as I can get with the little scope on it. Yeah, it looks a bit too small though from the pictures I've seen. And that's the same with the modern British infantry with the Carl Gustav. But again, very nice figure. I think if you're going to fire a weapon like this, this is how you want to have your stance. If you're not going to go even lower. And then we have the machine gunner, which is also very nice. I think it's an MG3. Correct me if I'm wrong. Just your standard machine gunner. But it's, yeah, like I said, all these figures are so good. And at this time, we're also used to Airfix's good quality and superb sculpts and poses. So yeah, you get kind of used to it. But yeah, that's it for this set. I'm gonna do a little bit more, so a few more videos in a bit on all these. The SAS, the NATO infantry, which is kind of weird. I think this should be US infantry, but yeah, let's call it NATO then. And then of course the modern Russians. And there's a big difference in these compared to the 1976 Germans and British. But I'll do that in a few later videos. So stick around, watch the close-ups and check out the really nice figures. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Cheers!